This is the Signal Mountain Trail. Again, the COTREX trails, in this case, are in black, and they're overlaid on OpenStreetMap tiles. And you can see that there's a discrepancy here, and that distance is about 240 feet. You can also see that further north there are more discrepancies, as well as we move south. We have a big discrepancy here, and here the junction between the Signal Mountain Trail and the Bulwark Ridge Trail is off by about 700 feet. Fairly significant difference is there. So how do we know that the OpenStreetMap is correct and COTREX is, we'll say, less correct? So let's turn on the Strava heat map, and we can see that the Strava heat map matches fairly closely with OpenStreetMap, and not so much with COTREX. While we're in the neighborhood of Signal Mountain, let's take a look at the Bulwark Ridge Trail that leads up to Signal Mountain from the Dunraven trailhead. Again, COTREX trails in black overlaid on OpenStreetMap tiles. And again, you can see the discrepancy here. And that distance is over 600 feet. So not an inconsequential distance. And you can see that as we go southeast, there's other discrepancies here, including that one. Now here's the interesting thing about this. You see this trail in OpenStreetMap. So that's where the trail used to be, and I haven't got up there to verify that it's actually totally gone. That's why I haven't deleted it from OpenStreetMap. But the either Forest Service or volunteers working under the authority of the Forest Service rerouted this trail, probably for erosion reasons. There was a lot of erosion and swampiness through here, if I recall. Somebody went into COTREX and put that change in, and good for them. But no one bothered to look up here to the northwest to check if there were other issues that needed to be addressed on this same trail. And if you continue to go up towards Signal Mountain, you continue to see more discrepancies, again on the order of hundreds of feet. All right, okay, why do we believe the Bulwark Ridge Trail is depicted in OpenStreetMap is correct or more correct than COTREX? Go to our old friend, the Strava heatmap, and see that everyone is traveling where OSM says the trail is, and no one, maybe a couple people maybe went off trail, or maybe they're just an error on their GPS, comes even close to the COTREX. I guess there's one person that kind of sort of did. So that the majority of folks are traveling along where OSM says the trail is. And in this case, it's pretty hard. Well, here in USGS 3D elevation program, you just barely make out the trail there, and then it kind of disappears and then continues there. So more evidence that that's where the trail actually is. I've hiked and ran this many times, and my GPS traces tend to support the OSM location rather than the COTREX location. Keeping with our theme of the Signal Mountains, there's a South Signal Mountain and a Signal Mountain. This is the Signal Mountain Trail, or South Signal Mountain Trail, southwest of the Signal Mountains. Now in this case, good trail data is very important. In most cases, I mean, you just follow the trail. Right? You can't get lost. I mean, the trail is there and it's very clearly visible. Still should have accurate trail data. But in this case, I know from experience, this trail is very faint, very difficult to follow. It is possible to get lost. And yet here we have discrepancy. Again, COTREX in black, overlaid to OpenStreetMap tiles. This distance is over 800 feet. So that's pretty significant. If we go to the east, see that continues and they kind of come together, then they go apart again and they weave back and forth. So, very, very large discrepancies here. Again, if we go to the west, southwest, more discrepancies. We're going to get into Rocky Mountain National Park here soon. Another big discrepancy. I think this is another one close to 800 feet. And we get into Rocky Mountain National Park, and things get a little bit better. That's actually pretty good there in the national park, but out here away from the park, it's not so good. So again, let's prove which is closer to reality. We'll use the Strava heat map for that. Not a lot of heat, but enough to really say that where OpenStreetMap says the trail is closer to reality than to where COTREX says it is. And all going east, northeast. People going off trail here, obviously. And that black is COTREX.